What up, Honda heads? Thanks for coming back and checking out this video. Yeah, guys, sorry for the almost 3-month hiatus. Guys, we've had a brutal winter over here where I'm from. And I really, was on the grind, guys. I just been saving up my money for the things that I've been planning on doing onto this K24. If you guys watched my previous video, I ended up finding out I ended up having some thrust washers that were damaged on my motor, and I thought I'd just replace the thrust washers, and upon further inspection, noticed that the crank was completely damaged. I'll show you real quick what I mean. This had, I don't know if you guys pick that up, but yeah, you see them grooves? That's not supposed to be there. That's supposed to be almost like that journal, nice and polished like that. This is metal on metal contact from the thrust washer resting. This is where the thrust washer would normally rest. And yeah, guys, it ended up chewing up. The crank, and I did not want to. You know what? I was gonna run it like that, but once I checked the clearances, it was a little over what Honda recommends. I believe, don't quote me on this, but I think it's anywhere from 3/1000 to no more than 10/1000 of an inch or something like that. And it was at like 10.5 And due to the fact, guys, that I had a lot of money invested into this motor, I didn't want to just overlook that. So I figured, you know what, let me get a new crank. And in the process of me getting the new crank, I ended up spending more money. Yeah, guys, I ended up picking up some WISECO pistons, some Manley rods with the King Racing bearings. I wasn't planning on doing this, guys. My plan was to, in the future, eventually go this route and just do a completely different block and just swap the heads over. But since the block was damaged, or the crank was damaged on the block, this just sped that process up. So I ended up biting the bullet, purchasing the rods and the pistons. And yeah, guys, that's what we're going to be doing in today's video. So hopefully, guys, you could derive some knowledge from whatever I'm going to be showing you on here. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, like this video, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all of that jazz, and let's start working on this motor. So before we get the wrenching onto this block, there's a few steps we're gonna have to take before we just start slapping on pistons and rods and all that. So first things first, we're gonna have to take the measurements. We're gonna have to do the measurements of the rod bearings, the main bearings. We're gonna have to check the clearances on the piston ring end gap. And also, we're gonna have to, first and foremost, we're gonna have to deglaze these cylinder walls, guys. So what we're gonna try to reach, I ended up using my Flexhone here. This right here, I ended up picking this product up on Amazon. I'll put the description. It's an 89 millimeter, home honer for hobbyists like myself. So what you do on a normal block, when you just take some pistons and rods out, you're gonna see that these cylinder walls are gonna be super slick, shiny like that. You do not want to have put brand new piston rings on this, because they won't sit in or break in as they're supposed to. So you're gonna want to hone it a bit and have all of these little cross hatches like that. So yeah, first thing we're gonna be doing is honing all 4 cylinders, and then after we've done with the honing, we're gonna test the piston ring end gap, and then go on to checking the clearances on the rod bearings and main bearings. So yeah, let me set you guys on a tripod and see if we can start honing this block. Stay tuned. Perfect. So all 4 cylinders, as you guys can see, are nice and honed, perfectly cleaned out. So what we're gonna be doing now, we're gonna be moving on to check the piston ring end gap. So guys, whenever you pick up a set of pistons, whichever manufacturer you guys decide to go with, they normally come with this paper and it gives you all the information like weight, bore, like all of that jazz. It also lets you know in whichever application it is you're trying to go with, what size end gap you should have on your motor. So in my case, I'm gonna be running a circle track and drag race application. So it's telling me that I should be top ring at 0.0055 for the top ring and 0.0060 for my bottom ring. So the way you're gonna go about this, you're gonna take your bore size on WISECO's paper. It gives it to you in millimeters and in inches, but the way you find out what the size is you get the bore size, which is, in my case, you just pull out your little nifty calculator and you put 3.4251 and times that by the give me a sec. For the top ring, the 0.0055, and that comes out to 0.0188, which you round it up, it's 19 thousandths of an inch. So you would come with your feeler gauge, go to 19 thousandths, and as long as the gap in between the piston ring end gap is at 19 thousandths, you're golden. So yeah, that's how you go about measuring the size that you need for your piston ring end gap. Alright guys, so what we're going to be doing now, we're going to start measuring or taking the measurements on the outer diameter of every main journal and rod bearing or rod journal. So tools we're going to be needing, we're going to be using our micrometer, how do you say that? Micrometer or micrometer, there we go, and some snap T gauges. So yeah, we're going to be measuring the outer diameter of each of the 5 main bearing journals, and then once we get that, we'll start on the rod bearings, and then we'll start assembling. I'm only going to do one on camera, guys, so you guys get the gist of how to go about this, and yeah, then we'll start getting back on the block side and start installing this crate. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so what we're gonna be doing first, each cap or each journal is corresponding to each journal on the crank. So I'm gonna start over here on the timing side, which is gonna be journal 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So what we're gonna be doing here, we're gonna grab our snap T gauge. You're gonna throw it right inside here. Make sure you do not fall inside the groove of the bearing, because it'll throw that reading wrong. So once it's there, come tighten the snap T gauge and then just drag it right out. And then this right here, you're gonna use your micrometer. I keep butchering that word. Micrometer. There we go. And measure this snap T gauge. So stay tuned. So now we're gonna grab our micrometer. And again, each journal from the timing side, journal 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So since we measured journal 1 on the block side, we're gonna come here and measure journal 1 on the crank. So we're gonna, once we get our measurements, it came out at 2.0006. We're gonna zero that out. Perfect. Once we're at all zeros, now we're gonna grab our snap T gauge and measure the diameter that way. This could be a little tricky. Gotta make sure that the snap T gauge is centered. Perfect. Zero out there. So the measurement came out at 0.15, or well, 16th of a thousandth, if I'm not, yeah. 0.00015, but you know, it's rounded up to 1/6, which is within clearance. I believe Honda calls for anywhere from 13 thousandths to 19 thousandths or something like that, which is right in the middle, which is good for us. So we're just gonna move on to the rest of the journals. So I'm gonna do that off camera, and I'll pick back up with you when I'm ready to start installing, or you know what? Yeah, when I'm ready to do the rod bearing clearances, so stay tuned. So what we're gonna be doing, we're gonna be installing the bearing onto the rods here. What I'm gonna do is just take these bolts off. And to remove these cap, sometimes it's a little difficult, but oh, shoot. Pull it out. Come right out. So guys, you do not want to mix these caps off. If you're going to be doing this, I suggest, let's see it. Yeah, if you're going to be doing this, I suggest you guys do it one rod at a time. You do not want to mix these caps up with different rods, because they are machined specifically to each individual rod. So the way I'm going to be doing it, I'm just going to be doing one at a time. I'm going to have them marked off, you know, rod 1, rod 2, you know, just like that, and so on and so forth. So yeah, just try to work nice and neat and in order, so you don't get mixed up. So yeah, with that being said, we're gonna just start installing the rods on now. And just grab 2 of your rods. And then you got the tang on the, hold on. Right here, that little tang, you're gonna line it up with the tang on the bearing. So and you're gonna have the same tang on the rod side. So line it up. Now when you go to put this, make sure that that little tang or cutout, it's on the same side. I don't know, you ain't gonna be able to pick it up, but you got a tang on this side and one over here. And then just put the rod bolt or rod cap on, and then we're gonna go take this to the vise, clamp this down to around 55, I think 55 foot-pounds. And once this is torqued down, we're gonna check the measurement inside, get the measurement on the crank, and just write the measurement down for rod number 2. So stay tuned. So we were finally able to finish with the main bearing clearances and rod bearing clearances. They came in pretty close to each other between journal 1 and 5 on the main side, and also really close within the rod side between rod 1 and 4 as well. We got as low as a 0.0017. Biggest clearance was a 0.021 on rod journal 2, which is perfect. It's just within the clearance I was looking for. So now what we're going to be doing, we're going to be installing the rods onto the pistons. I'm just gonna do one, like I said, on camera, and then do the rest off camera, and pick back up with you guys when we're about ready to install the rings onto the piston. So yeah, stay tuned. All right, so we're gonna grab our piston, or our rod, I mean. I got mine all marked off between 1 and 4, and also well, the pistons, I got the rings marked off between 1 and 4. We're gonna grab our rod. Come here and grab our piston. So grab our wrist pin, set that there aside. And where's it at? And then our locking, I forgot what this is called, but our wrist pin locks, I guess. But yeah, so what we're gonna do, you guys gotta be mindful as to how you're gonna be clocking these pistons onto the rods. You got your exhaust side and intake side. Here on the rod, I don't know if you're gonna be able to pick that up, but you got these 2 tangs, right, that are on the rod bearing side. You're gonna wanna clock these or put these, make sure that these tangs are facing towards the exhaust side of the piston. So if you're looking at the piston at the top of the dome of the piston, you got the exhaust cutouts, which are a lot bigger than the exhaust side. So the piston would literally go just like this, with the 2 tangs facing, the 2 tangs right here being in the back, facing the exhaust side of the piston. I'm not sure as to why it is. Give me a sec. Yeah, I'm not sure as to why it is that you're supposed to put it that way. I just read it somewhere as I was doing my research on how to go about building this block up, and I checked on the stock pistons and rods that I had, and all the pistons were oriented in the same way, with that rear tang, or with the tang of the rod bearing being towards the rear side or the exhaust side of the motor. So yeah, guys, yeah, take it with a grain of salt. I'm not sure if you were to reverse them around, if it's gonna really do anything. I don't know. But yeah, with that being said, I'm just gonna do it the same way I read it up and how I seen it on the original piston. So yeah, stay tuned. So we're gonna grab our wrist pin. Or no, first things first, let's grab one of these locks for the wrist pin. I forget what the name of this is, but let's just, for the sake of it, say it's the wrist pin lock. Set that there. It doesn't matter which side you do. Install one side first, so then you could install the wrist pin in from the other side and it doesn't fall through, and it holds the wrist pin in place. So another thing you're gonna wanna be mindful of here on the actual piston, I don't know if you guys picked that up, but it's got this little indentation. What that indentation is there for is if you're ever gonna remove this this little locking ring back out into the future, it allows you to shove a pick in there to get underneath it and take the pin out or the lock out. So you never want to install that opening. Hold up. You never want to install that opening. What the hell is up with that camera? That opening right there, you never want to install it inside that little opening on the piston. So yeah, let's just set this in here. sure if you'll be able to pick this up, but one shot. There you go. It's locked in there. So now you come with the wrist pin.
Perfect.
Add a little bit of assembly lube.
Perfect.
Just like that. Add a little bit of assembly lube on the piston side as well. Just like that. Be a little greasy at first, but get it started inside. And remember, you want the exhaust side with the tins towards the exhaust side, just like that. Go. Now I will come, clean up a little bit, and now install the other clip here on this other side.
Perfect.
Got a nice little audible click, which is perfect. And now you have a perfectly seated piston onto the rod. So once we're done installing the piston rings onto the piston, we're gonna be ready for assembly. I'm just gonna do one piston on camera, and then the other three I'll just, wrap up, try to speed this process up so I don't make this video too long, and then just get ready to assemble the motor. So yeah guys, if you guys haven't subscribed yet, I would appreciate it guys. Smash that subscribe button. If you guys are deriving any knowledge from this, I would really appreciate if you guys would just comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification. It just helps the whole algorithm, just push my videos out further into the YouTube realm. So yeah guys, subscribe. Alright guys, so what we're going to be doing, I ended up doing 3 pistons off camera. What we're going to be doing, we're going to be grabbing our 4th and final piston. I'm going to show you, I'll give you a quick demonstration as to how we'll go about installing these rings. So first things first, you're going to want to grab yourself a little bit of ATF fluid and wipe these rings down. Ugh. Like this. You're gonna grab mainly your top and bottom compression rings, clean them up, just like that. To do is WISECO recommends installing these rings with the swivel up. Let me see. give you a quick demonstration here. So right here, it gives you two options. You see how it overlaps? You do not want them to overlap. You want them to just butt up with the opening facing up towards the top of the block, or the head. That's how you want it to meet. The orientation of the pistons, again, you're gonna have your top rail, bottom rail, or yeah, bottom rail, top rail, and then the oil expander ring is gonna be down here, and then second compression ring, which is the bottom one, and then the top compression ring, which is the shiny one. You're also gonna notice that on these rings, they have a little letter at the end. Mine's at least have an N for, I believe, north, maybe. I'm not really sure what that stands for, but yeah, they both have. You're not gonna be able to pick it up on this one, but yeah, there you go. Those letters are facing up towards the piston, you know, so that's how you're gonna install them onto the piston. So I'm gonna set you guys back up on the tripod in a sec. So we finally got piston rings onto the pistons. We got the rods mounted onto the pistons. So what we're gonna be doing now, we're gonna start cleaning up the block. I ended up brakes and parts cleaning the crank already, making sure that all the little pinholes within the journal, in each journal, were free and clear of any dirt. Ended up doing that already off camera. I'm gonna be setting up the camera now here in front of the motor, and I'm gonna start cleaning the cylinder walls, making sure they're spiffy clean before I go ahead and butter them up with oil to install the piston. So what I'm gonna be using, I'm gonna be using a little bit of ATF. Just put that on one of these blue rags, napkins, and just start cleaning, going to town, wiping these cylinders down. So stay tuned, guys.
Perfect.
So now that the cylinder walls are nice and wiped down with the ATF, I'm going to be coming over here, reaching for the crank. I'm going to grab the crank and then set the crank on over onto the block. Everything's already wiped and cleaned on it. So yeah, let me go do that, and then we can go ahead and install also these thrust washers in. You know what, I'll install these on before I put the crank in, because it's a little easier. So these, what we're gonna do, we're gonna, you know what, give me a second. Oh, on these K24s, they have a little spot right there, little indentation on both sides of the block. So what we're gonna be doing, we're gonna grab our thrust washers, add a little bit of damn, what do you call that? Assembly lube, and then just install these before the crank. So let me do that a little bit off camera. I am you know, here alone. All I got is a tripod, and I'm just trying to make sure I don't mess nothing up. So this could be a little nerve-wracking, but yeah, I'm gonna set you guys up on a tripod, and then I'm gonna install the thrust washers in them two spots there, and then just come and install the crank. Stay tuned. So before I go ahead and install and apply the Honda bond, what I'm gonna be doing, let me see, I'm gonna draw a little cheat line as to where it is that the Honda bond is gonna be going. So I'll put it up on the screen here, but yeah, just so I don't forget.
Perfect.
Like that. Right here. Just like that. So you could do that just in case you give me a second. Just in case you guys forget, draw yourself a little cheat line there, and that way you could just apply the handlebar. So, got the handlebar installed. I'm gonna let it sit for like a minute or two. I'm gonna grab the girdle, make sure everything's all cleaned up, which it should be. And I'm gonna start grabbing the assembly lube, adding some assembly lube onto this side of the bearings before I go ahead and mate the girdle onto the block. So, yeah guys, let me set you guys up and start doing that. Stay tuned. Now I ended up hitting these down with the gun. We're gonna torque these down to 22 foot-pounds with an additional 56 degrees. So let me set up my torque wrench and I'll pick back up with you guys when I'm ready to torque this down. Alright guys, so what I ended up doing as a little cheat code, I ended up putting each number corresponding to each bolt in the torque sequence that it goes. So, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then these are for the main crank bolts, and then all the little 12mm bolts that go around the whole entire girdle. That's what I ended up doing. I just marked them off in the sequence, that they go, so then I don't have to keep referring back to the little paper. So yeah guys, that's what I ended up doing. It's a little cheat code for you guys, so there you go. So all the bolts are torqued. Now this is moving nice and freely. Oh. We also, you want to inspect, make sure that the squeeze out right there, you know, is nice. I don't know if you guys could see that in there. That's more or less the consistency you want to see throughout the whole girdle. Just like that. So there you go, guys. So what we're gonna be doing now, let me zoom back out. There you go. So yeah, what I'm gonna be doing now, I'm gonna be grabbing the pistons, and you know what, I'm contemplating whether I should let that Honda bond really dry and just pick back up with you guys tomorrow. You know what? Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just set the camera. I'm gonna call it for today with the block, just because I want the Honda bond to fully cure. I don't want, because I'm gonna be lathering the block up with oil. I do not want to get any contaminant on the Honda bond where that's gonna give me an issue and give me a problem where it might leak. So I'm gonna let it sit for a good 24 hours and I'll pick back up with you guys, you know, real quick. So stay tuned. So, all right, guys. So we're down to the nitty gritty now. We are about to start installing the pistons onto the cylinder, or the pistons onto the block. So what I ended up doing here, I ended up marking them off. I don't know if you guys see that. They're wearing off, but exhaust, intake, and then one being cylinder, one piston. Also mark the side and also the cap from underneath. So there's no gonna be any mixing of this rod and cap whatsoever. So tools we're gonna be using, guys, I got just a generic AutoZone piston ring compressor. We're gonna be oiling up the cylinder walls with a little bit of oil, just regular 1030 that I'm gonna be using. I'm gonna be coating the pistons as well with a little bit of oil, lubricating the piston ring compressor, and then just start throwing these pistons and rods into this block. So yeah, guys, stay tuned. All right, guys, so now that we got the rods in here, what we're gonna be doing, we're gonna start torquing them down according to the ARP on the rods, the paper that came with the rods. These ARP 2000 boats, we're gonna torque them down to 55 to 60 foot-pounds. I'm just gonna set my torque wrench and go to town. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna probably just do it in increments. So I'm probably gonna do like 30 to then jump up to 60. All right, so got a little bit more light. So I think, guys, I'm gonna cap it out right there with this video. We were able to accomplish a lot. I ended up installing the crank, pistons, rods. I ended up installing also, let me see if I could, give me a sec. You know, off camera, I ended up installing the oil baffle, I think is what this is called, and the oil pump. Put the little guides here for the oil pump, so got that all squared away. All I gotta do is install the oil pan, and the motor is moving freely. Everything is as it should be. All I got left to do now is once I put the oil pan on, allow that to dry, and then start going ahead and installing the head back onto the car. And hopefully we'll get this motor back in this within the next 2 videos or so. I'm not sure whether or not I'm gonna do a recording on me installing the head, just because of the fact it's getting pretty repetitive. There's already a video of mine installing this head onto this block. So yeah, with that being said, guys, if you guys enjoyed this video or found this video informative, I would appreciate it if you guys would subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, comment down below. Guys, you could also follow me on IG. I know I haven't been posting up as many videos as I should, man. Hopefully now with the spring and summer kicking in the full effect, hopefully I can start bringing out more content for you guys. But yeah, man, that is all for today. If you guys enjoyed this, guys, remember, subscribe. So thank you and peace.